Alright, we're going to make episode 3 of Phantom Force's tier list. We're going to go over the ranks again, and we're going to talk about what got changed. We're going to start off with SS. These are guns that are completely broken and need major nerfs and or changes. Let's start with the A94, which is brought up from S to SS. Where, to make note, if it has a plus by its name, it went up ranks. If it has a minus, it went down ranks. The A94, it's supposed to be a marksman assault rifle. You can switch it full auto, use it close range. But the current meta is not switching, keeping it on burst, running it hip fire. Because if you hip fire it in burst as fast as you can pull the trigger, there's no penalty. If you do an ADS, there's a lot of kick to it. Otherwise, it would be pretty balanced, but it's currently breaking the game. It actually is overpowered and needs to be nerfed. The SSR, a very new addition, a very powerful addition. It's put into the DMR category, which I think should be put into the battle rifle category. You can put a vertical grip and a laser with this thing, and you can just hit fire like nobody's business. I was playing King of the Hill on Highway, which is a horrible map, by the way, and I was running that setup, and I mowed down the entire enemy team with the SSR by myself. 5 people. I just killed all 5 of them that were on the hill with the SSR. 1 bullet to each of their heads, and they were dead. It's broken. It needs to be nerfed, even though I fucking love the gun. Now to S tier. These are guns that are overperforming. They need nerfs, but they're not completely game breaking. G36 went up from A+ to S tier. The gun is just too good. It's too accurate, too powerful, too easy to use. Its start is a little shaky, but as soon as you get your first horizontal grip, like as soon as you get your first ADS underbarrel and your muzzle brake, you're just going to be dominating the battlefield if you have some skill. The Remington 700. This is a special nerf. I still think the gun is too strong. The only reason it went down is because the intervention is just better. It's better in pretty much all categories. It is more accurate, more powerful, yada yada yada. It goes on. But the Remington is just the worst version of the intervention, and I would not put the two on equal footing. On to A+. These are guns that are above the point of balance. They aren't major threats at the moment, but they will need some changes in the future. The SCAR PDW, going from S to A+. I run a R2 suppressor laser with it, and the thing kicks like a motherfucker in ADS recoil. It's a pain in the ass to use. Otherwise, this gun would still remain in S tier, and might even go on to SS at some point. I feel the gun is fairly balanced with the current recoil, but that opinion could change when I get later in its shelf life. But for now, it's an A+. The KSG going from A to A+, simply just because of its ammo capacity. It's got slightly lower damage than the Remington 870, but it has 4 shots more. That is a major difference. That can be 4 kills. If you're lucky, 5 or more. On to A tier. These are guns that are balanced. They don't need changes. They don't need buffs, nerfs, anything. They're perfect where they are. The P90 going from A+ to A. It has a high per shot recoil. The only reason it's in this tier. Even with muzzle brake, stubby grip, this thing kicks like no one's business. That's the only reason it's in A tier. The Remington 870 going from B+ to A tier. You'll see why in a second, but it just is good enough to be in A tier. Going to B+, which is being changed to B tier from now on. There's Serbu going from B- to B tier. The gun performs okay. It's alright, but it could be better. I think it's in a fairly okay state at the moment. If you want a close range secondary and you can't find a proper shotgun on the battlefield, this will do in a pinch. You can kill someone at close range, but it's not reliable in the least. The SVU going from A tier to B tier. The only reason for this change is because it's now grouped with the MK11, which the MK11 is the godsend of all marksman rifles at the moment, or DMRs. But the SSR is actually challenging that. I'm starting to think the SSR is leagues beyond. Even though the SSR is higher ranked, I still think the MK11 does good. On to B minus. Now we're seeing two big changes. The Desert Eagle 44 going down from B tier to B minus for the simple fact it performs like crap. I would probably honestly want a Tech 9 over this gun because it's just not good at all. The SKS going down from B to B minus for the simple fact it sucks. It's a worse version, but faster firing than the MK11. Kind of like the intervention Remington 700, it's the same thing. MK11 is just better, SKS is just worse. The only difference they have, the SKS fires faster, but overall it's just worse than the MK11. And now for the last gun on the list, C tier. These are guns that are underpowered. B tiers were usually just bad. Underpowered, they need major buffs and changes to be good. The MP10 going up from D tier to C tier. If you don't know, D tier means they are worthless. You can use them, but if you're finding someone of your skill level and they are using a proper gun, they should beat you 90 to 99% of the time if they're properly trying. The only reason the MP10 is up with the other MP5s is because it's better than the Scar Hammer. If you didn't watch the episode 2, the Scar is trash. And honestly, I would rather have an MP10 than the Hammer. It's simple as that. That's the list. One more change before I think about it. It's actually going to be bad is now going to be B, weak is going to be B+. It's just easier for all of us to tell. I'm putting in the description to try and not confuse people. That's the list. Please nerf the AN-94, but don't touch my baby. The SSR is good where it is, even though I'm saying it's overpowered. Either way, that's episode 3. That's the changes for today. In a few days, after I get a bit more practice in and I see how the other guns are performing, I'll start switching up the list again and just see how it goes.